Roger that.
Maintain your altitude of 15,000 feet.
2 miles northeast. Turn left at 90.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of War Thunder. I'm your host Nightcaster, and I'll be here to talk about squads and the keys to success. The biggest thing that I believe that is important to squads is fundamentals. Understanding your plane, understanding the intricacies of flying, the strengths and weaknesses of the planes that you are flying, and the strengths and weaknesses of your allies. That includes your specific squad teammates. These are important traits that should help you along and give you a better chance of succeeding. Another important aspect, I would say, is situational awareness, where your teammates especially have an understanding of what's going on around them so that you're not caught off guard, and that you're also constantly scanning the sky for threats and looking for targets and being a little bit aggressive. Things like that can go a long way to succeeding as a group, and that's true whether you're solo or whether you're squatting. So situational awareness can be very important, and it's something that you should really hone your skills at. Even if you're not looking to squat, it's a very fundamental skill that could technically be included in fundamentals, but I'd like to keep that separate just for the sake of pointing it out, just how important situational awareness can be. And next I would say, communicating. Communicating with your squad mates is important because you can be very situational aware. You can have a lot of fundamentals in flying your own plane, but if you don't communicate anything to your teammates or to your squad mates, then some of that situational awareness and fundamental flying can be lost. Being able to communicate your actions to other people, or at least have them understand your actions through, experimentation of flying together, or, experience, etc., will help you to hone that communication a lot more. So they kind of go hand in hand. Now, another fundamental piece is sticking together as a group. And if you're going to really be out there flying as a team, you need to be able to be in position to help another. There's no sense having one or two of you in a four-man squad flying into totally different directions, being 30 kilometers apart, when it's much more efficient to stay within each other's range. That will help you in situations where if you get in trouble, your friendlies can help you out, and who's better to help you than your own squad mates? Now, this is true even when you're playing solo as well. So a lot of these skills that I'm talking about really can be used in normal play, but as a squad, they can really, really help you become a better gang or squad. And one of the best things you can do is watch each other's back. You really want to be careful when you're flying and watch your teammates, because if they get a tail, it's very, very, very good for you to at least try to help that teammate of yours be disengaged from the enemy, and sometimes just flying in the direction of the enemy without even being aggressive can help pull an enemy off a teammate. So just simply being around each other and watching each other's back and being in good positions to defend one another can be really important and go a long way to succeeding as a group. And here, our team understands that the strength of the BF-109 is in its climbing ability and being above the enemy. We'll have a major advantage over opposition if we can do two things here. One is maintain energy advantage, and two, stick together while communicating our intentions. Now, we've flown together a little bit, this group here, so we have a little bit of understanding about how each other is going to work, but for the most part, the VF-109, at least in this tier, is pretty easy plane to fly, so long as you understand its capabilities and you work together. Now, obviously, at this height, we don't have a huge advantage, but just having the height advantage itself and energy advantage is going to be fundamental to attacking the enemies here. There are a number of planes that once they get up to this altitude could pretty much outperform the BF-109, but I don't think there's many at this tier that can do that a whole lot. Maybe the P-39, but I think even that has a ceiling that's probably a little bit lower than where we are right now. So, understanding that this BF-109 group can be easily work over a team at this height, where our intentions are really here to just take out any enemies that are high and kind of work our way down. Notice how we're at about 7,000 feet, and there really is only a handful of planes that are really up here. Most planes are 5,000 and lower, if not more. The XP 38G is probably one of those planes we need to watch, but right now we're just going to try and take some people out while we can, and then once we get a couple of these people down, we'll climb up again. We should be fairly safe at this point. I mean, we did a pretty big dive here, but we have a lot of speed. We should be able to gain at least most of that back. Notice how I'm always constantly looking around, paying attention to not only where the enemies are, but where my teammates are located. I really want to make sure that they're okay as well as I'm okay. And so I'm taking a shot at this BF-109, or P-39, excuse me, and I just happen to didn't have a really good lineup here. But I notice he's kind of going another direction, and we have a couple of high tallies way off in the distance. They look to be preoccupied at the moment. So I'm just going to take some time to climb again, regain some altitude, and circle back. Now it looks like we've gained a Spitfire from altitude, and he looks to be pursuing one of our squad mates. So I'm going to head back over that direction and kind of give him something else to think about. One thing I think we try to do as a team here is to, when one enemy is taking on somebody else, the other teammate tries their best to slip in behind to either help them disengage or kill the enemy. And right now I just need to lower my profile and kind of, sucker this guy up into a stall. Spitfire is notorious for trying to be really aggressive on that, and the VF-109 can still really climb well here. I have a lot of power, and I was able to bait the Spitfire for my teammate. And there's a good example of being aggressive and watching your friendlies. Not only can it be beneficial to you, but it can be beneficial to the team in general. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to have the opportunity to do the same for him at some point. Maybe not this match, but maybe later. So now we're kind of up here all on our own. We may have somebody out in the distance, but for the most part, we're pretty much the highest altitude planes. We are gathering a little bit of attention now. It's about 3 to 4 on 4. And our goal is the same. Just try to take advantage of our altitude. And when one person is being engaged, try to remove that tail as much as possible. Here I decided to pull off because I noticed that our other squad mate over here has 2 enemies on him, and I do not want them to be overwhelmed. So even though they do have the height advantage here, it's still important to at least, like I was talking about earlier, maintaining that range. No sense running off too far away from your friendlies and squad mates when all you're going to do is end up getting each other killed. And then we're kind of recondensing our team back toward each other here. I noticed that I have this pilot here is this enemy is kind of on his own, so I'm just going to take a shot. And I managed to get a good hit and a crit, and bam, destroyed. So now all I got to do, everyone seems to be okay. There's no threats behind. I just kind of zoom back up and regain some altitude. And while I was regaining some altitude, I looked to have picked up a tally, and one of our squad mates happened to notice and is taking and engaging that P-39. Notice how I'm kind of positioning myself to help them in case they have to zoom away. I'm making sure that I maintain some kind of energy advantage. Luckily I didn't have to do anything there, so while they're engaging, I'm going to remain high and kind of watch over them to make sure if anybody else decides to engage or they get in trouble, I'm in a decent position. Now it looks like we have most of the enemies down. We're just kind of trying to do cleanup at this point. It's at this point in the match where we kind of are out searching for the enemies. We know that the P-38 should be out and about somewhere. And I believe there's another plane or 2 as well. So it's at least 3 on 2. So while we're searching, we're going to take the time to regain some altitude. And notice how we're always communicating. It's never a bad idea to discuss strategy while you have time, because there's very little time to actually discuss it while you're in the heat of the moment. And one of the strengths of the BF-109 is obviously its climb, so it doesn't take us a whole lot of time to go from 2,500, 2,000 meters back up to 4,000. It's at this point we decide to turn around. I think we've spotted somebody up here in the distance, so we're going to make our way over there. Right now we could climb more, but sometimes there's when you know that the enemies are not going to be much higher than you, it does little to help you if you climb too high. You want a good advantage, but you don't want an extreme advantage, because there's a couple things that can work against you. One, it's going to take you forever to climb and get to close the distance, because you're spending a lot of speed climbing. And 2, when you actually do engage, you're going to be running so high or have to bleed off some of that speed because you can cross. And that's especially true on the BF-109. they do compress fairly well at higher speeds, so you don't want to be going too fast when you engage in the BF-109. That's part of knowing your plane and tactics. So it looks like we actually have 3 enemies over here, and we're going to start engaging them. Managed to get a shot and a critical here, but I don't really get a kill. We're all just kind of taking shots at the best people we can at the time, and then kind of playing it by ear. None of us seem to be in any danger, so we're just hoping that they turn, which they oblige. And when they don't, and they try to zoom climb back up toward us, we're just going to try and pick them off. So anybody that's following another person up in the zoom, we're just going to come back down on them and try to pick them off. It's a very common tactic for BF-109 groups to do. It's very simple. If you're looking for a strategy to employ as a squad, I recommend trying the BF-109s. They have a lot of good capabilities in this regard. U.S. planes are pretty good too, but you have to have a fundamental understanding of how to boom and zoom correctly. You can still kind of boom and zoom fairly well in the BF-109s. They are decent at this tier. It's just they're not as good as some of the other planes when used correctly. But the BF-109s have benefits of being able to climb very well. They have a lot of power. Not so much at the low altitudes, but at this altitude and higher, they seem to have pretty decent power. So you'll be able to climb and spiral climb out of the way of some people, etc. There's a lot of things that you can do in your arsenal to keep the enemies guessing about what you're not just so obvious. When you get on the deck like this is where the BF-109 really starts to struggle. So if you do happen to come down and engage, it's very important that you try to get some of the altitude back, because once a BF-109 slow on the deck is a dead BF-109. So it looks like we have almost all the enemies down now. We've managed to kill all but one. This guy seems to be the most active in the kill column, and so he's going to be the last target. It was a lot easier than we had hoped, but he didn't have much of a chance anyway. So anyway, it was a good match for all of us. We all had the blue tail smoke running on this, and it was an exciting match. These guys are pretty good pilots. I mean, I only flew with them a few times, and they were, it was so good I decided to join them. But this is an older match, and I decided to revisit some of my older footage to try to find something. But thanks, guys. It was good talking again, and we'll see you next time.